Yes, and we're live. So,
Hey, everybody.
hi everybody. I'm Rotem.
I'm Ben.
So, and we are going to talk to you again about the Agile home, how to use Agile and Scrum at home, because this
Mhm.
is how we run our house. And today we are going to focus on family retrospective. The reason that we're going to do it is because a few days ago we celebrated the Jewish New Year's Eve. We celebrate a lot of holidays, a lot of different holidays. We have a very
All the holidays.
diverse family. Um, and also for the Jewish people, I'm Israeli originally. This is Yom Kippur, where people reflect on the previous year and plan how to be better in the coming year. And we every year we take advantage of the time where we get rid of the old and we make room for the new and try to make a better year for ourselves and for our family. Yes, we have some mosquitoes here. That's going to have to be stopped for next year. And yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of family retrospective after Ben is going to explain a little bit about what it is. And then you'll be able to see in the comments on Facebook, but also on YouTube, a short video that I made before where you can learn how to actually do the family retrospective.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, can you explain a little bit about
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah. So I'll talk about it a little bit first from like a technology point of view, like where people use it in professionally outside of the family thing, like where it came from. Basically, you have a desire to want to learn from things that you did. A team of developers or a team working on projects, they want to know how they improve. This is part of the agile process, right? You want to improve, you want to learn, and through every iteration of your agile process, you need to learn how to make things better, learn what you did, learn what works and what doesn't work, things like that. So the retrospective is is a key piece of that whole process, is where you actually look back on what you did and figure out what you want to change, learn from it, basically, right? And there's a specific way of going about it. I mean, people look at it in different ways, and different names. Like Rotem said just now, is that in a lot of other cultures and things like that, this is called reflection. When you're looking back, or you're like learning, or you're looking internally, or whatever it might be. It's just that in Agile, there's some specific formats to help you do it in a way that's productive. Because most of you might know, if you get together with a group of people and you ask, okay, what didn't work, your meeting will turn into a big complaint fest where everyone is just complaining about whatever problem they had. Where the retrospective is supposed to be something more productive. It's supposed to be something positive that you're learning from something. Not that anything is no pointing fingers or anything like that. It's more about just understanding what happened and learning from that and trying to make it better going forward.
Yeah. So that's how it's being done in project management and software development world, where Ben is coming from and where I was a Scrum Master for a very short period of my life, or when I produce big events, but because that's what we want to avoid. So the first law, the first rule is that we want to try to avoid negativity.
Mhm.
There's no, like Ben said, there's no blaming, there's no finger pointing. And I like to call this solution-oriented thinking or solution-oriented communication, where we focused on what we want rather than what we don't want. So this is the first thing. The second idea is to think macro, especially if we're talking about a yearly retrospective. Of course, you can do monthly, you can do weekly, but since it's a complex process, we don't do it a lot. We do it once a year, and then we do small, like not sprints, but something like that. So don't get into the details. We don't want to get into details now. We want to think big ideas. We want to learn how to move on, how to support each other, and how to make our plans happen. Right? Do you wanna mention the different questions and
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
works?
So one important thing is that it's like we were saying, it's a learning process, right? It's part of the learning process, and sometimes it can be done on a yearly basis, like we're talking about. It can be done on a semi-yearly basis, on a monthly basis, whatever feels comfortable. If it works, if you figure out a way that works within your family, within your organization, whatever it is, then you should go for it. It's just the thing is that you want to learn, you want to be able to understand if you need to change direction, because it's something that's really important that happens as part of this process. Is you figure out that or people have the opportunity to communicate directions that they want to go, or things that you might not necessarily see if you don't talk about them, right? So like a common format for a retrospective is to ask everyone to talk about what went well, what is something that's going well in the process or in life or in their day to day, what things went well over the past year or over the past month, whatever it might be. Another way to look at it is, what do we want to keep doing, right? There's the different ways to look at the same question. So you have what went well, that's what we want to talk about. One is what things can we improve, okay? What are the ways, what things we want to stop doing? That's another way to look at it. What went well, what things can we improve? And the other is to actually the important thing is to bring solutions, right? Sometimes you want to say, okay, this didn't work out right. How we ran the schedule or how we're sharing the television or whatever it is not really working right. So it's not about just saying what didn't work right. It's about, again, the solution-based, solution-oriented conversation where you want to say, this didn't work right, so why don't we try this? It isn't fair within this context of retrospective or the conversation of retrospective for someone to come and just say what didn't work right. It's very easy to see. The value comes when you say, this didn't work right, so I suggest we do this instead, right? That makes everyone think about solutions and not just about problems.
Yeah, and we also want to train our brains, and we want to train our children's brains to think in a solution-oriented way. So sometimes, they're young and it's complex to do that, but it's just practice. So they don't even have to say the way we share the TV doesn't work right. They can even just say, I want to improve the way that we organize who watches TV and when. And then, it's just like we always tell the kids, don't focus on not letting the water spill out of the cup, focus on keep the water in the cup. So we want to focus on what we can do and not of what we shouldn't do.
Yeah.
We like to add one more small things. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes the kids lose their patience. Like I said, it's a complex event. And I like to hear from the kids what they have learned. I feel like when we do this retrospective, it's really, we're doing a role modeling of healthy communication that helps up not only building the positive interactions in the family, but also help them learn how to ask for help. Okay, so let's say my daughter, our daughter, the middle one, she really got into professional ice skating, figure skating, and she loves it, but she has a hard time combining studying into it, learning, and now she's homeschooling. And it's really great that she learned to say, I want to do this, I want to complete my homework, but I need help. I need you. She actually came to us and said, I need you to help me create a better schedule. So we are practicing communicating in a healthy and positive, solution-oriented way.
Yeah. And the key word is practicing, right? Because it isn't like, it's just going to happen. The first time you have a meeting like that, a retrospective, it's going to happen right away. Sometimes you get lucky and everyone kind of gets it, but you want to kind of steer it in that direction, right? Steer it in the solution-oriented direction. Sometimes people just want to get stuff off their chest, and that's okay. but encourage people bringing solutions.
Yeah, but
right?
also that's not the place to do that.
That's not the place to do it. It tends to come out naturally because
Yeah.
of people. But
But this is why we're the leaders. We are the Scrum Masters, and we are navigating.
Yeah.
Because we are parents, of course, and when they have the things they need to let them out, yeah, they come to us. They tell us, "Oh, I didn't like that." It's okay. We're their parents, and they're going to complain, but we try not to bring the complaining into this meeting. And I'm not going to lie to you because it can be a little bit boring for them. So I reminded them that we have, that in 2 days from now, we have retrospective, and they were like, "Oh, not again. We don't want it. It's so boring."
not again.
Yeah. Well, they said it's boring. So what we did is that we created a list of questions that's going to be in the meeting, and we are going to put it on the refrigerator today so they can plan, and then the meeting will be shorter.
Yeah.
Because they will already come with the answers.
The retrospective can be in lots of formats. Like
Yeah.
the objective is to get this information. Like we know that we want to get this information. We want to learn and want to understand what happened, things like that. But how you get that information can be different. Like you can have little board games and have like little stickers that kids can move around and say, hey, I like this, I didn't like that. And kind of maybe have sticky notes where they write stuff down and stick it in a box that says did like, stuff like that, and a place for solutions, right? I think one of the most important things, and one of the reasons that sometimes retrospectives don't work is because we don't act on what we learn.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have a retrospective, one of the objectives is to come out of the retrospective with some action items, with some things that you say, okay, let's try to change this. What are the solutions? And try to implement those solutions. Sometimes you can't. You have a whole list of 10 or 20. You can't do all of them.
Yeah.
But it's important to try to do it one or two or something, and agree together as a family that we're all going to agree that this is something that bothers us, and we're all agreeing that we're going to try to implement this solution, right? Yeah. And that's really important, because if you don't do that, and you just have a retrospective after retrospective, whether it's in your family or in the team at work or whatever it might be, and nothing is coming out of the retrospective, those action items are not being acted on, yeah, then the retrospective loses its value, loses its credibility. And nobody will want to do it, because why would they want to come and tell you what's wrong if you're never going to do anything about it?
Yeah.
So it's important to take that information and use it and act on those action items.
Yeah. I agree. For us, I think the retrospective that we got something really big out was 2 years ago, when we learned that our children wanted to try to move to United States. Ben is American. They were born in Israel. We live in Israel, and we always came for visits, but we didn't even know that they had that desire, that they really wanted to come and see what it's like to live here. We are in New Jersey right now. And we learned that from the retrospective. It actually came up. Yeah. Each one of them wrote about it. I mean, Serena drew, she wasn't writing yet, but they all mentioned it, and we had no idea. Yeah. So this is one big thing.
You can discover a lot of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know. We can't assume that we know what's going on in everyone's mind and what difficulties they might be having. Sometimes even between us, we have the same pain point, the same problem, right? But we might not talk about it on the day-to-day. And sometimes that's an opportunity to say, hey, yeah, I agree, that is something that I think we should resolve, and the solution could be this, and I agree with the solution. Sometimes it goes that way, and that's good. You want to have that dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons we both like Agile and Scrum so much is that it helps you create a frame. It actually gives you tools that you don't have to invent. They're already there. And with these tools, we create a place that is safe. It's safe from judgment, from criticism, and it's create a space where people can say what they want, ask for support, tell us what their goals are, and I think this is one of the big benefits of using Scrum and Agile at home, and specifically retrospective, because we don't have to recreate the wheel. That's what I say it in English. Reinvent the wheel, right? It's already there. We already have the tool, and we put our own personality into it. But it's just so great.
Yeah, you can be creative about how you do it.
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's just
once you practice, you can make it your own. So that's what a good Scrum Master does.
Yeah, the important thing is that you learn, right?
Yeah.
Is that you learn from your day to day, and you have a ceremony. You have a point in time when you stop and you take a look at what's been happening. You get input, you learn from it, and you act on that input, right? That's the important thing.
Yeah. So we are going to go prepare for our retrospective, which is going to be in 2 days. And if you didn't subscribe yet to the Balanza Center on YouTube, please do. There's going to be a lot more lives. There's a lot of information over there. And also, if you are not a member yet of the Families Hangout group on Facebook, it's a free group, a lot of experts, a lot of talks, very supportive group about interactions and communication and family relationships. So that's it, guys. Let us know what you want to talk about. And if this is interesting, you find it interesting, please share so more people will be able to benefit from that.
Yeah, and if there's questions about it, questions about what we talked about, and questions about the process as a whole, post those questions. It's good to have that dialogue.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Okay, bye, YouTube.